from the Lenovo Studios, WCMC HD1 Holly Springs, 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
Now great work by Orlov. He'll pitch it away. Here comes Martinook. He's got Stahl with him. Martinook up high. He scores! He continues to beat the devil. Jordan Martinook shorthanded. It's 2-1 Carolina. Martinook, he'll settle it down. He'll turn and hand it out. And here's a chance. Empty net. Bingo! Seth Jarvis. Take it away, Caniacs.
Martinook has been on it in a different galaxy. He dives in, turns a lost draw into a winning draw, then protects the puck, allows Jarvis to rev it up, and puts this thing, in all likelihood, to bed.
Grant Paulsen from Grant and Danny on 106.7 The Fan in D.C. Well, you and I, maybe we'll have beef over the next couple of weeks. We got a series to play. Talk to me about what your listeners are saying about this team. This, I guess, at the beginning of the year, nobody really foresaw this coming, but what are your thoughts on where the Caps are right now?
Well, it's stunning, really, when you look at the macro view from 10,000 feet up. They are not supposed to have been, frankly, the best team in the Eastern Conference. In the regular season, they ran away and hid with the Metro, and they kind of ran away with the conference and sputtered a little bit down the stretch as they were hunting Alex Ovechkin's goals record and kind of didn't have much to play for. But the big fear going into the playoffs was they wouldn't be able to flip the switch and start playing their game again. And for the most part, they did. They took out Montreal in 5 games. I will say the Canadians were game. They were competitive. That's a really talented young team, and they made it difficult. That was not your typical 4-1 series. There was an overtime game in there. A couple of the lopsided games in terms of goal discrepancy were with empty netters at the end and in 1-goal games. But, they're on to round 2. First time since 2018. Of course, they led Carolina 3-2 in 2019 before losing that series. And, Caps fans, really from that moment on, as Carolina's become such a quality team in the division, having lost in the outdoor game, handily out there. Not just all of that, but some of the games over the years, including very recently here in April with the back and forth between the two clubs and the organizations. There's animus, and so it'll be a fun rivalry that gets reignited.
There's no question. I don't even know who Washington's rivalry would be with if it's not Carolina. And, it's kind of weird because
the Penguins.
Yeah, because Ovechkin and Crosby, right?
Right.
Pittsburgh would think otherwise.
Still the number one rival, honestly. But Pittsburgh's been kind of out of sight, out of mind for a few years, oddly, and then this year completely fell off. So in terms of competitive teams, you just got to play more in the postseason. This is only the second time the two teams have ever met in the playoffs. So that lowers the bar a little bit, I'd say. It does. Whereas Washington played the Penguins, seemed like annually in the spring, and was eliminated by the Penguins almost every single year.
And getting over on them in 18 was
exactly right.
What was the impetus for that whole playoff run. Grant Paulsen, Grant and Danny, 106.7 The Fan in D.C. Are you a little surprised, because I am, that Carolina is the favorite in this series? The betting favorite?
I've thought about that a lot. I got asked that a bunch in the last 48 hours. I would say no. They got points, I believe, in 3 of the 4 games against Washington this season. I can just tell you that my personal opinion is that the Capitals match up better, say, with, Florida, who might be the juggernaut in the conference, maybe if not Carolina, than they do the Canes. I think it's very comparable. I think this is a 6-7 game series. Mm-hmm. It could absolutely go either way. I'm not scared of Carolina by any means, but I certainly think they can beat the Capitals in a series. It's hockey, and it's a stupid game played on ice, right? It's people fall, and there's bounces, and weird things happen. But look, you play 82 games. The Caps were the best team in hockey. They, as I said, ran away with the division. And you would think that would get you something. But I think it's a few things. I think, number one, it's their age. I think there's this expectation maybe that they'll wear down a little quicker than some teams with some of their key pieces. Right. John Carlson on the defensive end, I thought, really struggled in the Montreal series. Ovi never seems to slow down. He had 4 goals. But at some point, that would feel inevitable. Last year in 4 games against the Rangers, he didn't have a point. he was amazing against Montreal.
Yeah.
And some of their guys have just logged a lot of miles, whether it's Lars Eller, Tom Wilson, I thought was really good against Montreal.
Mm-hmm.
They've played a ton of playoff games over the years. So, maybe that's part of it. It could also be the history. They've got one cup in this era. They've got one conference finals appearance. So there's always this feeling like, that they're not going to give you their best shot. Maybe I don't really know. I'm trying to answer something that I don't necessarily believe, but I would say I would probably have the series as even money because the Caps are on home ice. If 7 games were played on neutral ice, I might have Carolina be a very, very minimal favorite.
Yeah, the whole thing is weird. Florida is a favorite even without home ice against Toronto. That makes more sense. Toronto has had many playoff failures, and Florida is only the third-place team in the Atlantic because they basically shut it down over the last month. I would say a lot of teams, Washington, Carolina, New Jersey, who was also broken but wasn't winning even, with a good enough team to win. I think a lot of these teams spent basically the month of April just sort of getting ready for the playoffs. Grant Paulsen from D.C. is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. I want to ask you about Tom Wilson because Wilson, over the last few years, has morphed from tough guy, borderline. I mean, I'm going to use this term lovingly, I promise you. Goon, but who could play, to now great player with, again, I use this term lovingly, goonish tendencies, because there isn't a single team in the league that wouldn't want Tom Wilson. If you gave me Tom Wilson today, I would sprint to taking number 43 on my roster. He is such a good player. Where did that transition happen?
So first I will take issue with the word goon. I don't think he ever was one. And I appreciate. I mean, you understand how good he is, which is half the battle. I mean, I deal with Penguins fans and maniacs from every market that act like this guy's Ryan Reeves. And
he's legitimately good player.
This is the best power forward in the sport unequivocally. He finally got power play time over the last couple of years, and his goals count ascended. He's a 30-goal scorer. And to your point, there are 30-plus GMs in the National Hockey League that would army crawl over hot coals to try to get Tom Wilson on their team, including in Carolina. He is so big and so physical. He doesn't really lose fights. He hits everything that moves. He's a big body in front of the cage on the power play. He's got good hands. He can skate. He's got good speed. He's a unicorn. I mean, there just aren't guys like him. They don't make them. You typically either are his size and just don't have the game to be a really talented, good top-line offensive player, or you have the skill and you just cannot be as physically imposing. He completely changed the series with his hit in the neutral zone
on William
against
Carrier.
Montreal in Game 4. They
outscored Alexander Carrier. That play led to the Duham goal. I was watching it. That was the play that changed the series. Changed the game, right?
Totally. But from that moment forward, I think that their discrepancy was 8-1 Capitals in the final couple of games of the series. So when you look at it that way, it's staggering just how big of an impact he has. He's also the most popular guy in the room year in and year out. He's beloved by his teammates. He won the Good Guy Award in the media. I mean, he's really a mensch, legitimately. So it's funny that he's hated everywhere, but we wouldn't have it any other way here. But when did it happen? I think starting to get more power play time allowed him to be able to get some of the offensive totals that people start to think, well, wait a second, maybe he is pretty good. And then he's been able to finish on the rush as his career's gone on better than he did early on. He's also played a different style of hockey, which is where I'll meet you in the middle here. Again, I don't ever think he was a goon. I think he's one of the, he is a guy that, when he does something, everyone acts like it's a bigger deal than when everyone else does. And it's a physical, violent sport, and he's bigger and stronger and faster than most guys are. So when he hits you, you're going to fall harder, and it's going to look worse. Has he ever had bad hits? Of course. It's a fast game. You make a lot of decisions. But by and large, I think the narrative about him is ridiculous. So I just think people have gotten wiser, largely, honestly. I think He certainly realizes that he can't live in the penalty box, that he's too important to the team to get baited by lesser players, which he did for a long time. And now he handles his business and fights every now and then when someone's got to answer the bell. But for the most part, he's a top 6 player they have to have on the ice because he's one of their best players every night.
There's no doubt about it. I don't disagree with anything you said. By the way, Justin Williams, who became a Hurricane again and is now in Carolina's front office.
Yeah, he's our guy, yeah.
And I have talked to Justin a lot about Tom. Loved him. Absolutely loved him as a teammate. And he recognizes he's a great player.
Gold, I bet you nobody that ever played for the team would have a negative word to say about him.
No, and Wilson is the type of player that opposing fans will always hate. And that's fair. Yeah. That's okay. I mean, honestly, that's the way it should be for a guy like Tom. He is a dynamite player. I'm just going to ask very nicely, leave Jackson Blake alone. And we're going to have to close it there. You want to give a prediction?
Yeah, I will say, I'm so excited about this series. I just think it's fun, the rivalry between the two organizations. Yeah. I think that my biggest beef on social media this year came with Canes fans. Every year I've got one.
So is mine, actually.
That's funny. But every year I have one of these. Like I had tweeted, I think Rod Brindamore acts like a complete goofball. He's a great coach, but he couldn't be more of a goose on the bench, chirping players and doing all the things he does. So I had tweeted about that at one point.
Yeah, I know. I saw you. Honestly, you could not be more incorrect about that, but that's fine. It's fine.
Well, I've seen it many times, so that's fine.
All right.
But so I tweeted about that, and for like a month thereafter, was still like people are responding like I tweeted it 2 minutes earlier, right?
Right.
But the interactions were going until the very end of the season. So it was just kind of funny because I was like, okay, this would be awesome if we get a playoff series out of this. The way that this fan base feels, and I've always thought he's one of the better coaches in the league. I just think he's a goose. But so it's going to be fun. I'm excited. Luckily, Warren Fogle can't cheap shot TJ Oshie this time to change the series, so that'll be nice. Because hearing that guy's name still makes me want to punch a hole in the wall.
I understand.
And hopefully none of your defensemen slam anybody's heads on the ice. But if everything works out swimmingly otherwise, it should be a fun series.
Oh, man. But
then again, Brandon Duhaime already beat his ass and handled that. So we should be okay, I think.
Such an aggrieved end to this conversation. My gosh, seriously, don't pick the fight.
Get the people.
That's fine.
I just want to get the people moving.
If Connor McMichael didn't want the smoke, he should not have picked the fight. And it wasn't.
I totally agree.
Right?
He doesn't fight, and he should have gotten beaten up. But what was done obviously doesn't get done in hockey fights. Everybody knows that.
No, understood. But also, once the fight starts, we're not. You're not stopping it in the middle of the fight, and that was an unintentional move by Chatfield. They're just tussling. What happened. Nobody wanted to see that. But Connor McMichael,
I don't think he purposefully slammed anybody's head on the ice, but he did, and you got to answer for that, and he did. So it worked out. We're in a good place now. So let's play hockey.
Grant, you're the best, man. I appreciate your time. Grant Paulsen, 106.7 The Fan. We're gonna have to run this back.
Hey, I'll have you on. Let's go game by game with this thing.
You got it. Let's do it.
All right. See you, buddy.
It's great. Grant Paulsen, 106.7 The Fan in Washington.
I can't. He's got something bad to say about Rod.
Yeah, well,
he's on my list.
He's wrong about that, but that's fine. The Warren Fogle thing, I get it. What people don't understand is that Warren Fogle wasn't smart enough to know what he was doing.
Yeah. That's
just the truth about Fogle. He's a different player now, but at that point, he didn't know anything. He was just like a baby deer. All right, when we come back, Trip Tracy will join us. Then after that, we're going to go inside the numbers on Alexander Ovechkin. Trip Tracy next.
Questioning goalie interference calls since day